So on our family What's Up channel, I had said that I was going to do fajitas next, which I've done many times with the family. And my daughter sort of challenged me to do vegetarian fajitas, specifically mushroom. So these are Marie's mushroom fajitas, and I think they turned out quite nice. Well, if I'm going to use mushrooms as the meat, I'm going to need to make a killer marinade. So here's the team for that. The liquid is going to be the juice of 4 limes and some of that olive oil. The seasonings are going to be some chili powder, some cumin, obviously, garlic powder, onion powder. I'm going to use a little bit of dried cilantro in here, just a touch of cinnamon. Then on the far left, we've got the cayenne and ground black pepper. And then the secret ingredient's going to be a little bit of miso paste to add some of that umami. First step, I got to juice some limes, so I use my 99-cent juicer here. I probably ought to invest in something better eventually. But anyway, I want to juice these things, and partway through I decide, you know what, I'm going to zest one of these guys too, because that's going to add some nice flavor. So once I've got all of this zesting and juicing done, we're ready to move on. Alright, it's going to be whole teaspoons of everything. So we're starting with the cumin, then we're going to the cayenne pepper. After that's going to be the dried cilantro. Then comes garlic powder, onion powder, the chili powder, and then we're going to go to the half teaspoon and do the cinnamon, grind some black pepper in there. Time for some liquids. A couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. And so secret ingredient is the miso paste. We're going through with a whole teaspoon of this. Keep in mind this is also salt. That's why we're not adding salt. And it goes mixy. And we'll mix again right before we marinate the mushrooms. But there's our marinade. And this ought to do 4 or 5 or 6 pretty good sized portobellos. There's the good sized portobellos. We're just going to slice them like they're strips of steak. And when we're done with that, we're going to plop them into a zip top bag, give it a little quick stir to get everything mixy. Close it with some air in it so there's room to move it around and get everybody covered. And then once you're happy with the coverage, go ahead and squeeze the air out, and you can refrigerate these while you get ready for the rest. Probably half an hour is all you need. Then it's time to prep some vegetables, and I decided to go with poblanos here. Could have been Anaheims. You could do green peppers if you want, but I just think they're pretty boring. So I'm gonna cut these guys up and get rid of the stems and the seeds and slice them into sticks that fit into fajitas well. Once these guys are done, it's time to do the same thing with an onion. And basically you do the first chop and then you don't do the second crossways chop, and you end up with some nice long strips, and the veggies are ready to party. After about a half an hour, the mushrooms are going in with all that delicious marinade, and what we're looking for here is we want the mushrooms to basically give up all their moisture, which is going to create a nice little sauce in here. The mushrooms are probably going to reduce in size by about a half once you've done that, and they'll be nice and tender and yummy. Once you've gotten to that point, it's time to think about adding the vegetables. And what we have here is tajin. So I didn't show this at the beginning because it's not part of the marinade, but I do hit the vegetables with this when I put them in the cooktop. This is basically lime zest, cayenne, and salt, but ground really fine. I suppose I could do that on my own, but why bother? Because it comes in a bottle and it's available almost everywhere. This stuff is amazing. In fact, even when it's not mushroom fajitas, I use this on the vegetables all the time. Everybody's happy, everybody's giving up their liquid. You can see how much the mushrooms have reduced, and so it's time to deglaze. So I'm going to go with a light lager that I got in the fridge. Again, not a Mexican light lager, but oh well. And maybe 4 ounces. I'll finish the rest while I eat these bad boys. So we're just going to pick up some of the dark bits from the bottom. Time to plate, I try to keep the mushrooms on one side and the veggies on the other to sort of maintain the fajita theme going on. And that's what it looks like. It looks like a plate of fajitas. Rose is helping out, bringing over some cheese. That's actually feta because I could not find cotija. And feta is about the closest thing I could find to cotija. This is me trying to find a good way to organize this so the camera catches it. I give up and take a photograph. There you go. There's the fixins for fajitas. And yes, that is homemade guacamole from the previous episode, so I invite you to go back and take a look at how to do that if you want to. It's super easy, and this is a fantastic meal. So there you have it, Marie's mushroom fajitas, inspired by my daughter who doesn't always want a big hunk of beef. Really, really good. I was actually quite surprised at how good the feta goes with this. So if you can't find cotija, I would recommend going feta as opposed to one of the milder Mexican cheeses. Enjoy.